Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where this murder investigation's really moving along. I mean, sort of, I guess. We're not really solving anything, but we're getting a lot more information that hopefully, maybe, someday could lead to some solving. So, what we learned from Klasia last time is that she definitely was never raped by this dude. But that he probably is a rapist. Like, he has done a lot of fucked up dark shit, and he likes to talk about it a lot. He sort of built a personality around the things he did to make some kind of peace with. You know, you have to somehow accept that you did those things without going insane, right? The way he chose is not my favorite way, but he found a way. So, he's done a lot of dark, evil shit in lots of other places in the world. We don't necessarily know that he did almost anything here, right? Like, the only things we've been told explicitly that he did are things we've been told by the Hardy Boys, who are, let's say, not necessarily compelled to tell the truth about this particular matter. Maybe this is the next thing to do. Let's go talk to Titus, see what he says in response to the little bit of information that we have here, and then I guess we'll take it from there. My suspicion is that we're not going to learn a lot of new information on this one. No, sorry, I want stairs. It's hard to imagine, right? It's hard to imagine him cracking just because we come back to him and say, hey, once again, Klasia... Oh, wait, hold on. What is this? She's made around 4 months of payments for this room, which is not a thing that I interact with the payment notes to. I can just notice it if I'm kind of nearby. That's a weird one. Yeah, so I'm going to tell him that she contradicted his story again. He's going to bluster around a bit, and then, like, where else could this even possibly go? I guess let's find out. Maybe I'll hit him with the pry bar.
Are still hanging around. What is it now?
So I talked to Klasia about that tape. And nothing. She stands by what she said. That fucking fucker. He stares at his beer for 2 seconds, intently, then turns to you. You're the worst cops in Revachol. I gave you gold on that tape. That fucker wasn't aimed at you. Yeah, I know. That would be a super weird way for him to cuss me out. So, I gave you gold on that tape. It was just locker room talk. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was dark stuff, but it didn't prove anything, and it didn't change her mind. Dark? Dark is when you start a goddamn death rock band. He said he'd rape her. I think saying that you will rape a person to another person isn't actually a crime, though. I think if you tell someone that you will rape them, you're probably not allowed to do that. You're allowed to threaten somebody with a violent crime, but I think the thing he did is technically legal. Well, what did she have to say then? Fine by her? This is what people are supposed to be like? Fucking whoop-de-doo. Well, no, she didn't say whoop-de-doo. I can confirm that. She didn't? Well, whoop-de-doo then. He's too angry to drink his beer. He just stares at it. I mean, it did not come as a surprise to her, and she definitely wasn't scared. These are both true. If I say, actually, I think it made her a little nostalgic. This puts in Titus's mind thoughts of her being into this other guy, right? Recalling fondly her time with him, which might make Titus angry enough to do something stupid or say something stupid. That might be the in we're looking for here. He has information, we just need to, like, get him to slip. Actually, I think it made her a little nostalgic. Yes, in fact, the lieutenant looks at you, then him. I think she thought it was a little funny. Funny? Titus mumbles, his lips barely moving. No good goddamn psycho whore. Seems like they wanted to give Klasia a second chance to play along, and she still didn't. Weirdly loud Foley of him slamming his fist. Alright, I'll fucking righty then. I guess it's good then. That fucking... Please try to control yourself in the presence of visitors, Titus. Man, I wish she wasn't here. I feel like we were building him up to a big mistake there, and she's gonna ruin everything. Titus rubs his chin with his palm, as if trying to grind it smooth. This is just perfect. Just fucking perfect. Any thoughts on this, lawmen? You don't have to say everything out loud. Just mix and match. Thank you, Rhetoric. I understand how the dialogue system of the game works. Yeah, okay. Thoughts on this? Well, I think you had a lie planned and she didn't play along. I asked you for an opinion, not a bedtime story. Tell it to your grandma. And this tape was the last chance for her to do what was planned. But she didn't. She knows she can't lie to us. Unlike you. Oh no, he's definitely compromised too. I was about to say, it's his hubris. Sadly, not much to do about it now. Yeah, fantastic. So now you remember how to do your job. He despondently glances at his beer. I'm so sick of this piss. We should get something harder in here. Yeah, guys, we should get a party going tonight. Why? He looks at the old man in the corner. Maybe not then. Success. They admitted to unlawful collaboration to derail the investigation. I mean, we already had them on murder. It doesn't really help us to pin them on additional crimes. So be straight with me, Titus. What really happened? I already told you. He puts his giant face in his hands and sighs. We fucking hanged him. There's less gusto in his voice now. His men, too, are growing increasingly silent. The man's slowing down. Looks like a bad blood sugar crash. You can't keep track of all the variables anymore. Who could? It's getting harder and harder to perform one's part in this sordid play. All it takes is a nudge. Come on, Titus. It's been a long day. Well, it's 9:30 in the morning. I'm tired of running back and forth between you. I can see you're tired, too. Why don't you just... You know what? He gets closer. I am tired. I'm tired of you and the whore upstairs. Next time you see her, tell her Titus said fuck off. He throws his beer can down. That lying, scamming... we're done. This is over, you understand? Your little investigation is over. Yeah. There's a silence in the room. Ellen starts saying something, then thinks best not to. On the floor, beer drips out of the can into a small puddle. No one does anything about it. Okay, this is one of those moments. This is a critical moment in our investigation. What is this quiet funeral shit? What we need is some beers in us. He looks around. Bartender, 20 beers for the Dock Workers Union. Why don't we make it 40, huh? The man shouts from behind the counter. Why don't we make it 100 beers? You're not loud enough. 100 beers? Now we're talking. Glenn livens up. Hoppity hop over here, cafeteria manager. Alright. I think if we were to push this, or if we were to hit this, it would probably be really good for us. Titus knows that he's not getting anything past us, right? He knows that the story's slipping. He knows he's fucking it up. He's trying to change the subject. If we can just give him the impression... Because he's trapped right now, right? He has this story, the official story that he's been told to deliver, and he can't keep it together. If we give him the impression that there's a way out of this, I think we could probably turn him. It's just a matter of hitting a 15 rhetoric check, which is not impossible. Is bringing in Everett a good idea? Because the thing we would be convincing Titus of is that he's being manipulated by Everett here, right? Well, and maybe also by Klausya, but probably mostly by Everett. We need him to turn on Everett. We need him to no longer be loyal to the larger criminal conspiracy. So this probably doesn't help me on this check. This might, though. At this point, pressing him with this and making it clear to him that we know more things that don't fit the story would probably give us some bonuses on this check, but actually, my inclination, given the way the game systems have worked so far, is to put on the rhetoric clothes that we have, anything that we have that makes sense, and try the check now, and then talk to him about the bullet, because getting him to waver on the bullet might unlock the check again. Get the best possible chance of actually doing this way. I think we have some rhetoric gear. I might be wearing it already. No, I don't currently have any plus rhetoric. Aha! A white polo shirt, of course. Nobody's more convincing than a man in a white polo shirt. You see a guy standing around like that and you just think, oh, I know he had to do it to him. Alright, well I guess that's the best we're getting. Do I have a loose skill point right now? I don't, but I will soon. I just have to do, like, anything. Honestly, pursuing him on the bullet thing might even do it.
You again. What is it?
Let's try this, and then we'll hunt down 3 XP somewhere else. Okay. Klasha is playing them like a fiddle. Okay, I'm trying to convince them that Klasha is manipulating them. To what end, though? Tell them how bad they got played, and they'll tell you the truth. There are many ways to go about it. All of them really good. Kim, I'm gonna need your gun again. Let's see. Well, we know this is gonna fail no matter how we do it. But basically what I'm doing here is, first of all, looking for things that are in character, and secondly, looking for things that I don't think will give us a minus on the check in the future. There are different degrees of failure, right? Listen, I know what's going on here. I've been wronged, too. I got this fucking dark shadow over my heart. What the hell are you talking about? Well, as I awakened into this world, something came with me. An ancient sadness. Oh, that shadow. A man your age. The hangover must be lethal. He measures you up. I never thought I'd say this, but maybe you should cut back on the drink. That's enough for the shadow now, officer. Let's do procedural questions, or even... He nods toward the exit. Why not take a little breather? Oh, my morale. These working class oafs don't know how to talk about feelings. You shouldn't have opened up to them. Or to anyone. Okay, but it at least did not give us a penalty to future attempts. Hey, I just found a bullet in the hanged man's head. A bullet, you say? He pats the back of his head. That's mighty curious. Indeed. Mighty. How did it get there? The lieutenant is fixed on Titus. He gives you an indulgent look. Well, there are so many bullets in the world, and so many heads. He sighs deeply. I guess it's only logical. At some point, one of them bullets had to end up in one of them heads. It's bound to happen again, you know, he taps on his right temple. Just statistically speaking, of course. Hey, that kind of sounds like you just threatened to shoot a police officer in the head. Sire, it would be an event most dramatic if you were to produce the bullet and dangle it before their very eyes. Huh. I would not have thought that would be effective. He's right. It would be most dramatic. You know what? I trust my sense of drama. It's probably too much sometimes. I'm going to ask you again. Why was this in the victim's head? Ow. The little man leans in to inspect the leaden blossom. He's got it in a real evidence bag and all. Why don't you go home and log it into evidence? These men have told you what happened. I think the hanging was a cover-up for the shooting. You know what I think? He raises his finger. I think he was shot in the head as a kid, and his brain grew around the bullet. Around the bullet, man. Ellen pinches the root of his nose. That's a good one. All the goofing around is to avoid lying. It's a technique, and it's not working, I should note. They're only pretending to enjoy this. Beneath the act, they don't like you knowing this. So, did you guys shoot him? Shit! He throws his head back. I probably did shoot him. I was drunk last night. Hey, you guys know me when I'm drunk. Yeah, Glenn likes to shoot his guns when he's drunk. The little guy looks you in the eye. Better hope he stays sober. No, he meant before he was hanged. Did you shoot him before you hanged him? Before? After? During? She spreads her arms. This is getting ridiculous. They told you what happened. Stop wasting your time. Alright, did that help at all? It did unlock the check. Okay, it did unlock the check and give me another plus. Well, yeah, I think we just roll this again. Pretty okay odds this time. And if we don't get it, we go find 3 XP and come back with another skill point. Okay, that time we just hit the 12. Convince Titus he's being manipulated. Bad idea. Bringing her up will do no good. You should know by now, Titus will never falter. Yeah, but one of his boys will. Just remember, it's about more than Klasya. It's about these men in Martinez. Their district, their responsibility. Well, that's it then. Case closed. We're going home, Kim. The lieutenant raises his brow. He'll get it. Go on. Write it down, Kim. In Martinez, they just kill you because they don't like you. This is successful. Okay. I'll trust the text. Got it. He takes out his notebook. Kill you because they don't like you. All because... So don't bring up Klasia. Their district, their responsibility. It's about more than Klasia. Bringing her up will do no good. So it's about these men and Martinez. Their district, their responsibility. It's definitely not... We definitely don't say 1. I don't think we say 4. I'm not really sure what the best path forward here is. Because neither of these... None of the 4 choices available here really make sense with what our sense of rhetoric is trying to lead us toward. We need something that's talking about, like, their sense of duty, right? So I guess if I say because you're a foreigner, I'm impugning their sense of duty. That's not saying that they did it to protect anything. It's just saying they did it because racism, which they will probably object to. Honestly, that might be the right way to go. Yeah, let's accuse them of something they're probably not guilty of, so that they admit to the thing they are guilty of as a defense. Goddamn right, don't come around if you're not from around. Yo, fuck you, I'm not from around. That's not why we... There we go. He jots down a note. Don't come to the wild north if you're not white enough. They just hang you or shoot you, whatever, they can't even remember. Which one of these is the best one to continue kindling outrage? I like just hang you and make a display of your corpse as sort of like continuing pushing on the idea that these guys kind of did this for no reason, but it is also literally what they did, which makes it a little bit less of an outrage. I kind of like this. They just hang you, shoot you, light you on fire. They don't care. But we didn't light him on fire. You hear the fat man wheeze. He's trying to get up. That's it. That's the weak one. You flushed him out. Now go in for the... Officer, you will be next if you don't shut up. The old man reaches for his belt, but his voice is strangely calm. Firearm, a Gloss 08 or a .38 caliber pistol. Either is small enough for you to have missed. He's onto you. He knows what you're trying to do. Okay, so we want to push Angus, but I'm a little worried that Theo's going to shoot me. Just like a tiny little bit. I don't want to lose my momentum. So I'm a little worried that looking at Kim is going to kind of like dispel. If I hesitate visibly here, that gives Theo the feeling that he's got the situation under control, right? But I do kind of feel like I want to make sure that Kim's on top of his shit. Like, he needs to be ready with his gun. Let's just take a quick glance over at Kim. The lieutenant has put down his notebook and his hand is resting on his holster. He gives you an imperceptible nod. What? What does that mean? That didn't actually help. That's fine. We're going to push Angus. Or what? You're going to kill me like you killed him for no fucking reason? We didn't kill him. We didn't even hang him. He was dead when... He takes a breath, wheezing. Shut up, Angus. He was dead before you hanged him. Fatty! The little guy hits Angus on the back of the head. A loud slap. Say one more thing to the cops and I'll... Dennis! Titus roars. Stand down or I'll beat your head in. Theo, take your hand off the belt. This isn't 31. I've got this under control. The room falls quiet. So quiet you can hear Angus wheeze. Angie, where's your goddamn inhaler? You sound like you're dying. I left it at home. I can't get it. I'm too fucked. He grabbed his chest. I'm sorry. Why are you so fucking fat, Angus? Lizzie snaps at him. Now it's all pointless because of you. You wasted my time. I told you, Titus. He turns to him. I told you, just give her up. Oh, that's interesting. Lizzie, he turns to the fixer. Your help is no longer needed here. Go tell Everett. Fine, I'll tell him. After a long walk along the coast, she walks off without looking back. Okay, that worked pretty much the way I wanted it to, which is so rarely the way that things go in this game. Don't whisper to Kim. Okay, so you didn't kill him. He was already dead. Titus nods. You hanged the corpse to cover up the real cause of death, the bullet in his head. Another nod. But why? Because the girls asked us to. They were in some shit. Girls, plural. There's another girl. 2 of them, at least. Take note of this. They'll probably say more about her later. Did she kill him? Cobb, I have no idea. The girl says she didn't. He doesn't think she did, or at least he hopes she didn't. What happened Sunday night? Klasha came down. He points to the stairs. She seemed really out of it, drugged up, even more than usual. Bug-eyed and gurning, not in a fun way. It looked like she'd redosed after something went down. I've seen that look before. She was scared. I knew someone had died. Well, how did you know that? I've done this job for 10 years. I've seen it before. It's the politician in the motel room with the dead hooker scenario, only in reverse. Good analogy, boss. The rat-faced man snickers. Yo, Shanky, this is not the time. You don't get to talk yet, Shanky, he points at him. You're still on the bench, and you keep taking it easy too, Angus. Alright, so what happened then? We went upstairs. Sure as day, the merc was dead, and there was a bullet hole through the window. Fucking, he scratches his chin. Dirty sheets and bottles everywhere. He means they'd been fucking. Yeah, thank you, Rhetoric. I picked that up. Tibbs patched the window, and the corpse we hanged. So who's Tibbs? The 8th Hardy? No, he's my brother. He's in the window replacement business. Right now, he's grateful he hasn't gotten his brother into this mess. So, if Klassia didn't kill him, why the cover-up? You may have noticed our girl's in some shit of her own. I didn't notice anything. What kind of shit are we talking about? The can't show up on police radar kind? There are people after her, from the old world, where she came from. These people, who are they? They're powerful. He looks out the window. Connected to the moral intern. She's clearly afraid for her life. Says if she showed up in your system, she'd be ghosted away. That's all he knows, because that's all she's told him. And why would you help someone like that? By taking on a murder? Why would I? He shrugs. I guess we abide all sorts of runaways and losers here. It's a Martinez thing. So, who killed the merc then? Any leads? Not yet, just some ideas. She says the shot came from outside, behind the window somewhere, so that's a clue. What are you thinking? I'm thinking someone's past caught up with them. Either hers or his. Hers? You mean... I mean, the people after Klasha. Maybe the shot missed. Maybe it was meant for her. Yeah, I like that, the young guy nods. I'm thinking the same thing myself. And you had ideas about his past, too. I do. One of those mercenary buddies of his could have done it. They got guns, training, years of bad blood, probably. Or it could have been someone else. It could have been someone else from Krenel. He pauses to think. I tell you what I'd do. I'd check out the coast for vantage points. Maybe consult with a ballistics buddy of mine. That's what I'd do. If I wasn't too busy doing this clown dance with you. He's calm now. He threw all that turmoil away and became himself again. It does seem like you could have just done those things instead of talking to me now about them a week later. So whose idea was it to hang him anyway? Hers? In a manner of speaking. Remember the 2 girls? He may be talking about the other one. Hey, earlier you said the girls asked for your help. Was this the other girl? That's right. He blinks. It was her idea to hang him. I liked it, for political reasons. It sent a good message. It's her, isn't it? The missing 8th Hardy. That's the other girl. The big guy turns to Glenn, who's about to say something. Blonde shuts his mouth before a word escapes. That's interesting. So Titus knew that would pull a response from Glenn even before Glenn had a chance to say anything. I'll say it again. Titus turns to you. All the Hardy Boys are right here, cop. That woman is just affiliated with the Hardy Boys. And you don't know her anyway. Okay. Can you tell me anything about her? Name? Current location? Nope. You're not getting to her. It's Klassia you want to talk to. Do I say that I'm sorry that I made them fight? I don't think so, because first of all, it's not true, and secondly, I don't think that he's going to take that as, like, a positive, empathetic gesture. Yeah, we'll just get out of here. Well, thank you for this, Titus. I'll go talk to her. For the last time. Boy, that carries a real air of I'm going to murder her at the end of this, huh? Yeah, you do that then. He grabs his beer and swirls it in his hand, then thinks of something. Hey, cop, before you go. He looks up. Klasia came to Martinez to hide. Many of us did. This is where you wash up when there's nowhere left to go. The Union takes you in. Now, she refused that protection, but you would still prefer if we didn't take her away, right? That's right. If we didn't take care of the people who end up here, this place would just be a couple of ruins and some cargo containers. We'll take that into account. The lieutenant slides his notebook into his coat pocket. He turns to leave. Okay, well, we're making moves here. We still know, remarkably little about what actually happened, right? We have no idea who fired the shot or where the shot came from, and it may well have come from outside the window, but it's not impossible that the shot actually came from one of the girls, and it just went... Well, no, it couldn't have gone through the guy and out the window, because the bullet was still in his head. So the shot definitely did come in from outside. I mean, how many places are there where you could have gotten that shot? We definitely need to examine the window again. I might be able to use a little bit of the old visual calculus to figure this out. What's my visual calculus at right now? 5? Hold on, I have glasses for this. I'm sure I have glasses for this. There we go. Let's just take a quick look at this window with my seeing stuff glasses on. Nope, nothing. Weird. Why would I not be able to try to, look at the window and guess where the bullet could have come from? There can only be so many places that can see that, given that the window is shielded on most sides by the building. If we really look at this... I suppose up here on the roof of this building would have been doable. Or maybe... Depending on how accurate the rifle is, maybe over by the waterlock. Honestly, it maybe even past the waterlock? Given the angle? Maybe. I don't know. I guess we don't have anything on that yet.
It's always good to see you.
Yeah, I bet. Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you, and what's to come. Alright, remember, our sense of empathy is not necessarily trustworthy. The Hardy Boys told us what really happened. I understand. She puts her coffee mug on the table. Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight. You don't look surprised. You were expecting this? I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police. She winces. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time. This is good. Clear the air first, between you two, then move to the questions. No, it's not good. It's the opposite of that. This will let her dictate the terms of your... Shh, I can't hear what she's saying. If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time? Because the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. She looks at her feet. Out of the shit I'd gotten into. Cool, I'm real satisfied with that. No. That's not a good enough reason. You're right. There's more. You answer to the coalition government, and, by extension, the moral intern. She reaches for a new cigarette. Briefly briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again. A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay into the horizon, gray and pale violet in the morning light. What lies beyond it? The Pale, the Mundia Sola, the Occident, and then Orania, the old world. What do you think? I wonder, in this moment, how sort of poetic and dramatic is it appropriate to get? Because trying to connect her glancing over her shoulder to the moral intern, it has a nice dramatic feeling to it, but maybe this would be a good time to be real straightforward and just get the facts. No, let's do it the way it makes sense for our character to do it. This is the man we've built. Is that why you're looking over your shoulder? You're afraid of the moral intern? She nods. You share a database with them. You send people to their courts. She lights the cigarette. Alright, what's going on? What did you do? Just business, but bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they'll find me. They will. And what happens if they do? They'll kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the Morlantern Mill. There's a wince and a pained little smile. Well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me. Actually, this murder did have a little to do with her. So, what happened here the night he died? We were there. She points to the window. The silhouette of the bed is visible. Together. In bed, I mean. Yeah, tell me exactly what happened. Okay. She takes a deep breath. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. Okay, so he's at the far end of the bed. He'd be looking out the window. He would have seen the person if they were anywhere nearby. So probably probably that nearby building is not the place that the shot comes from. I turned back to him. She breathes out. A moment's silence. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open, dumb. I could. Her chest rises and falls with each word. She keeps herself together and says it. I knew he was dead, before he fell down on top of me. So wait a second, he was in a kneeling position on the bed, because the bullet went in, in through the top of his mouth, right? How did the angle of that shot doesn't really make a lot of sense. Then what happened? He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There, she points through the window. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs. There's a long pause. She just stands there, her arms at her sides. Then she continues. I waited for the second shot to come, for me. I thought there would be one, but it never came. She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails. Am I misremembering? I thought because it was really hard to find the bullet impact, right? It was in his mouth, at the back on the roof. I'm wondering if she's still lying to us, basically. Given where we saw the bullet impact, it really only makes sense for him to have been shot pretty close up and probably by somebody who was below him, is all I'm thinking. So, it still kind of makes the most sense that she did it. But we suspect the bullet came from a rifle. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering the bullet impact site. Okay. Are you sure you're not making this up? Is a little bit more direct than I usually do this. We're going to need more details. She looks down with a wince. Her cigarette has singed her fingers. She throws it away and immediately proceeds to light another one. What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible. 11:30 to 12:15? I don't know the exact time. Around midnight. That's okay. He makes a note. Were you inebriated? Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking. Wait, Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual. Yeah, I'm wondering how much we want to push her. Basically, the real question is here. If I point out the inconsistencies in her story, does that lead to her telling me the truth? Or does it lead to her changing her story to patch them up? If she's lying to me, I wanna have a feeling of certainty about it. I'm gonna push her a little bit. Titus said you looked pretty high. Oh, yeah, she tilts her head. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head. Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this? No. And what did you do then? Nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room, downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little. He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore, so I ran down and out of my room into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there. Run, woman! Run past them and out into the street where it's dark and people move, to the lorries at the intersection, as far as you can. This is a lie. She's lying to us. Like, the story doesn't even really make sense. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I waited for the second shot to come. I'm trying to like plot her movement through her story, because she's in this upstairs, like this loft room. She moved him down. Did she say she dragged him down the stairs? She said she rolled him off of her. But now she's talking about the two of them being in the downstairs room. This is a weirdly bad lie for her. So do we ask her this question, which makes her feel like I'm on her side? A question that was prompted by our compromised sense of empathy. Or do we just listen? Let her keep telling her story that doesn't quite make sense and try to look for more inconsistencies. I think it's that one. She pulls on the cigarette, looking up at the sky. Her hair ripples in the breeze as she stands there, silent. We could ask her what she did to have people from the old world after her, but she's just going to lie to us about it, probably. Okay, so when it happened, did you hear a gunshot? When he was shot, she thinks? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding. The gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something to keep in mind when assessing the distance of the shot. Yeah, assuming that we believe this story at all. Okay, what happened after you ran downstairs? Sylvie was tending the bar. She looks down. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the union box was full. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time, she pauses. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong. Ruby? Hold on, before we continue, who's Ruby? Ruby, you know, the leader. The leader of what? The Hardy Boys, she says, as if it's self-evident. I thought, Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys. Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, though. Like, things they need taken care of. She's the organizer. Okay, let's go on. What then? Well, Ruby said, let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation, that I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright. To mislead you, they were tampering with the body, like immediately. To produce lividity matching a hanging. Yeah. We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this, 20 minutes after death? About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... I mean, you know what it does. She looks at the ground, then raises her light brown eyes to meet yours. Then what did you do? Ruby went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on, his armor too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then, and they carried him out. I knew what they were going to do, make it look like a hanging. Ruby said they would. And what did you do while they were out hanging him? Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while, that we should lay low or something. So I did. Okay, this Ruby. Where's Ruby now? I don't know. I haven't seen her since. We'll need to take this question to the Hardy Boys. Oh, good. I'm so glad that we need to deal with them even more. Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did? Yeah. What are you doing? I'm coming up with a theory. She said Ruby knew something was wrong before she said anything. How come? It was loud downstairs. She couldn't have heard the shot. It's ominous. You already coming up with theories to put the blame on someone other than Klasia. Yeah, I had caught that. She killed him, right? She put the gun in his mouth and killed him. And maybe it wasn't a rifle, it's just a gun that's chambered in a common rifle caliber? That's totally reasonable. She has a pistol that shoots 4.6 or whatever the caliber of the bullet was, I've already forgotten. It almost has to be her, right? Because of the angle of the entry. Again, unless I'm misremembering the angle of the entry. We'll talk to Kim and check our notes and stuff after this conversation. So why did you call the cops if you're hiding? Because I'm an idiot. The answer comes fast. Which is an indicator of truth, or an indicator of a rehearsed lie. Idiot. She's nothing of the sort. I am going to disagree with her. I think we have to tread pretty carefully here. I really like that. Like, this game has a complexly enough written narrative that I feel like I have to try to do things that make sense rather than the things that I would normally do in a video game conversation, which I really appreciate. I don't know if I've said that out loud before. So I think we have to tread carefully here. We need to be careful with how much we let her know that we're on to her, right? But I think I should push back on that line. Because we also don't want to make it look like we're buying it too much, because she might get suspicious of that too. Yeah, alright. So you would have us believe, but you're not, is the thing that really jumps out to me to say. That's what I'm going to do. You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him. Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob. Once. Just one time. Yeah, it's never just once. He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud, thud. She shakes her head. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Revachol. She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible. Oh god, that was a lie too. Who made the call then? Well, she did, of course. Here's a question. Why? Given what happens here, I don't believe almost any of her stories so far. She's the one who said she called the cops, and we don't have any reason to believe that that is true at all. But if they're doctoring a crime scene, they're doctoring it for the police. They have an expectation that the police are going to get involved. So, were they expecting... Did one of the Hardy Boys call the police, maybe? It took 3 days. So the person who called the police is probably somebody who either grew disgusted with the thing they had done and just like wanted it to be dealt with, almost wanting to get caught, or it was a person who just like cracked under the stress. I really don't think it was her. If I ask her point blank if she killed Lily, she's going to tell me no. My sense of drama is going to be useless. Hey, when was that window changed? Last week. Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it. She takes a drag. You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there. Yeah, I should have done it before this, frankly. In her bedroom? Inside? Yes. You see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye. Do I just ask her point blank? She did it. I'm almost sure she did it. I don't know. What's the point? She's just going to say no. I think we're done here for now. She nods silently. She doesn't even smoke, just picks up the cold coffee and holds it in her hands. The lieutenant glances at you, then at the door. He's thinking, are we done here, or should we arrest her? She's a flight risk, and she lied to you. She should be taken into custody. No, that won't be necessary. Just leave her alone. She's been through enough. She doesn't need this police brutality. This guy won't budge. You have to wake Multiface up forcefully if you want to continue pushing her. Yeah, if we got our sense of drama working for us again, and he could maybe actually tell us if she's lying, he would all of a sudden this conversation takes on a whole different tenor. And +3, manipulating your skill set. I wonder what that manipulating your skill set bonus is actually from. Well, got a pretty good chance of making this. 4, I believe, was the lowest successful value. Ooh, what? Dear God, you've been lied to! She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She's not candid at all. She's smoke and mirrors and will-o-wisps. Yeah, 14. So, okay. I'm trying to figure out if this is a check that people will generally be able to pass. I think it is a fairly difficult check. So she probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Arrest her immediately before she further entangles you in her web of lies. Okay, Drama, you're overstepping a little bit. Take it easy. Don't overcompensate with this course correction. Let's just ask some questions first. Yeah, start at the top, choose at the bottom. It's how we've always done it. No rush. Okay. Let's not say devil woman. You know, I think you didn't make that call to the station. This is where we start pressing. I did. She takes a step forward. What is this? I called your desk, or whatever it is. The numbers are all over town. Call 8102 for emergencies. There was an older woman on the other end. It sounded like she was smoking. She took my complaint, and she coughed. That is the emergencies desk number. And anyone could know that, sire, by looking around and calling the desk. I don't believe a single word she says. Older woman on the other end who sounds like she was smoking. I can't remember. I know that's not the woman who operates Kim's station. It is a woman, but I don't think she smokes. But I don't remember who was at the desk at my station. And what time did you make the call? Thursday night. It was late, sometime after 12. The lieutenant nods in your direction. That checks out. I'm not going to say this. This sounds desperate. I'm just going to let her keep talking. She stands before you, holding her back very straight. So maybe she did call? Or maybe she just knows who did call and when they called. What if I told you you're under arrest, miss? I do think she's a flight risk, to be fair. But I haven't done anything. She backs up against the railing with a forced smile on her face. Anything illegal? She purposefully misrepresented information crucial to the case. Fucking mind games! Enough! That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in. Okay. You're a suspect in a murder investigation. You're a flight risk. I'm not going to do this thing. This lacks professionalism down here. Yeah, I'm going to say 2. You're a suspect in a murder investigation and you're a flight risk. That's all the reason I need. The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs. Please, no. Her eyes become round with fear. She tries to back further off. Careful. There's nowhere to go. A 2-story drop to the plaza mosaic. If she could, she would have run before. I think I know who did it. I know who shot Lely. You know it wasn't me. Why would I do it? I have no motive. Do I even want to hear this? Yeah, our sense of drama is basically back in working order. Honestly, I'm a little concerned that it's overcompensating. I really like the way that this encounter has me not being able to trust myself. This is such a cool effect. Alright, we're still not taking drama's word as law, not the way we have been, but I want to hear her talk a little bit more. What do you know? Who shot him? She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself for certainty. Then, in a hushed voice, she says, gearing up for this betrayal is hard for her. Ruby. Why do you think it was her? She has this thing for me, ever since I met her and the boys downstairs. She's been pretty frank about what she wants. And what is that? Sex, and more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the run. She started protecting me. It became an unhealthy relationship. When I started spending time with Lely, she says in a near whisper, she told me to end it. Said there would be shit if I didn't. It was not a good meeting. We stopped talking after that, but... I don't understand. The lieutenant sounds incredulous. He still has the cuffs in his hand. What exactly in your relationship made you think she's romantically interested in you? Well, she said she's in love with me. She even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive. She started developing notions about our relationship. And you led her on. The lieutenant narrows his eyes. A little. I was flattered, you know? But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friendly with her. She looks at her feet. We maybe kissed? Nothing more. So she's selling out Ruby. This doesn't work, right? This story doesn't work. She was saying that she didn't even hear the gunshot. So, the gunshot would have to have been far away, but when she went downstairs immediately after the killing, Ruby was down there already. There's no way that Ruby shot this dude from far enough away that the gunshot wasn't even audible, and then fucking sprinted up the street into the whirling, and Klaasje, didn't notice that she was breathing. This story's nonsense. So what do I say, though? Let's keep reeling her in. Well, it sounds like she was fixated on you. And this is just an assumption. I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. She raises her eyes to meet yours. But she knew what had happened when I came downstairs. Somehow she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all. When we came up here, she was calm as a stone, too. She cleaned it all up like she had a plan. Okay, so she's not saying that Ruby shot him. She's saying Ruby had him shot. This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby was covering up after herself? The lynching. I mean, that does jibe with what she said earlier about Ruby, being ready to do cleanup immediately, having the guy hung up by the shower instantly. But then again, we don't know for sure that ever happened. Yet again, you're coming up with this. The worst thing is, it may be true? When Ruby said there would be shit happening if you didn't end your relationship with the deceased, was she threatening you? She came over one night drunk, said she'd turn my life into a living hell. I've been threatened before, so I can tell when someone knows how to do it. And she's a pro, she must be, to keep the Hardys in line. I tried severing ties with her after that. I thought it had worked, but she looks through the window of her room. Some of that fear is still with her. She exhales sharply. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her. Okay, so hold on. Let's think about this a little bit more. If we are now thinking that maybe Klaasje just shot him while they were in bed together, again, because the bullet entry wound, where does the bullet hole in the window come from? Did anybody hear a second shot? Or did she maybe create the bullet hole some other way to give her cover? Because that would be pretty good, right? Man, I don't know. I still don't know. I feel like I'm less sure of what happened than I was at the beginning of the episode. And how could she have killed him? Well, you said there was a secret route there, right? She points to the door that leads to the pinball workshop. Oh, just standing out here. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. She could have come up through there, then taken the shot, right here where I stand. It was too dark outside, I wouldn't have seen her. Then slipped back downstairs without anyone noticing. That is possible. The kitchen's usually empty, in the evening. Interesting theory. Did she know that door exists? Had you been out here with her? Yeah, she's been up here many times. She used to come drink on the roof when... The young woman falls silent. Her mouth moves without a sound. What is it? The peephole? My bed is right next to... She's forgotten her cigarette in the ashtray. She would have seen us. You mean to suggest she made it? No, she shrugs it off. No, why would she do that to herself? I just remembered you told me about it, and... She's not really sure. It was right above the bed. She could have seen all sorts of things from there. And don't let your imagination run wild here, sire. Keep it on track. Okay, that's it for Ruby. Okay, and what? Arrest the liar, now! She's stuck here. She's already in prison. Look around. She's only trying to help you. So we still don't trust the intentions of any of our senses other than volition and drama might be too far in the other direction. Wait, what is who? What? I don't understand what question this is asking. I'm gonna say who. Her! Stop letting her distract you. Yeah, what else could that possibly have been in reference to? Why would I even ask who? They're all clearly talking about Klasia. I think we should... Man. Here's the thing. I do think we should ensure somehow that she can't disappear on us, because she's going to, right? 100% for sure. But also, she might totally be telling the truth about it not being safe for her to be put in the system. And I would like to... I really want to arrest her and just, keep her here. The thing is, I don't know if that's going to be an option. I mean, this says, okay, I'll keep you here just for now, but that also says back off completely. Here's a problem that you sometimes have with video games. Neither of these options are super clear about where they're going to lead, but once we click on one of them, we're going to be 100% committed to it, even if it's not a thing we wanted to do. And I really don't know which thing to click because of that. What I want to do is keep her in the whirling. I don't know if we actually have a good way of doing that. Unless I, post Kim as a guard or something. It makes more sense to arrest her, I think. Yeah, she's gonna disappear if we don't. That's all good, but I still think we should take you in, just in case. Still, she says, her voice breaking, after all this, sir, please, it's a shitty world, and I know I'm shitty too, I know. Her hand turns into a fist, slowly, crushing the cigarette she's still holding. But I don't deserve to be sent to the moral intern and ground into paste just because I disturbed the sanctity of accounting at some multinational... She's gearing up for a last stand, this is it. What do you deserve, then? I don't know, she throws away the cigarette. To spend my days with smoke and drink and dance, wallowing in shit, just like everyone else. Well, what other option do I have? You have those station calls, right? Where I have to show up at the station or I'll become a fugitive? You can write me one. You don't have to take me in right now. I promise I won't go out anymore at night. I'll be right here. I know you can do that. Just let me come in on my own in 2 months, or maybe even 1 month. That's all I need. You do have the form. He looks at your ledger. That's it. I'm calling it. Kim is beyond compromised. Yeah, I am not taking Kim's advice at this moment. Okay, but what will have changed in 2 months or 1 month? Everything could change. She looks around. The city, the extradition rules, the people after me could be in jail. Or maybe Revachol... She falls silent. There is desperation there in that silence, a cornered animal looking for a way out. Maybe Revachol could be free. I could be tried in a free Revachol, an independent state that doesn't hand its detainees over to the moral intern. I find that hard to believe, miss. The handcuffs jingle in his hands. Not on my watch. I don't want freedom. I mean, this has got nothing to do with anything. I do like the sound of that. I'm gonna say, yeah, I do like the sound of that. Another Revachol. Free, independent. The world can change. It's changed before. Her round, light brown eyes shining with tears. Her political overture has succeeded, we see. This was her last card. There's nothing more she can say. Final decision is yours. You alone stand on the throne of your mind. Okay, I've made my choice, he lied. She looks at you in silence, her face filled with fear, lips parted. Wait, if you arrest her, Kim will have to transport her. You'd be without your partner for the rest of the day. Shut up! He's making a decision and it's his to make. What do I think is going to happen here? If we write her a station call, she's going to go on the lam. 100%. There's no way she returns. There's no way she shows up to the station. That is as good as letting her go. So the question is, are we letting her go? I'm honestly really unsure what to do here. The thing I want to do is not on the list. The thing that I would do in this situation is not on the list. We have no way of, like, posting Kim as a guard, or maybe one of the other detectives, or, you know. Honestly, I wouldn't trust Kim posted as a guard with her anyway. We can't keep her here. If we arrest her and she disappears, it's just as bad for us as if she disappears the other way. It's actually maybe even worse for us, because if we arrest her and she gets pulled out through the machinations of some person working in the system, they're gonna disappear her in a way that we're not gonna be able to follow. Whereas if she just bolts, there's a non-zero chance that we could figure that out. I don't think it's right to write her a station call. Because, like I say, I think we get all the negativity of her running away, but then she also, you know, we are explicitly the enemy for her at that point. So she's definitely never going to want to help us again. If I'm not arresting her, we have to just let her off entirely. I really honestly have no idea what to do here. We don't have any evidence, aside from her own word, about about her being in any danger if she's arrested. Maybe that's a good enough reason to just arrest her. She's been honest with us about basically nothing. Well, nothing we can prove. She might be telling the truth about her being the one who called. Maybe. Did you know that it's hard to be an investigator? This is a little tricky. Hold on. If Kim's transporting her, if I have Kim arrest her and drive her away, what are the odds that he does actually deliver her to the station? Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but Kim is not necessarily trustworthy here, which is an unusual feeling. I think we're going to let her off the hook. I think when I let her off the hook, she's going to bolt. Because at this point, she's kind of afraid of me, and also, she would have done it either way. But I don't think that either of these other options actually help us, probably. Yeah, I'm going to let her go. Partially because I don't feel like I can trust Kim not to be manipulated by her, and partially because I just don't think that... But if it turns out she did kill him and we let her get away, and I let her get away, that's pretty different than if I gave her to Kim and Kim let her get away. I think we're not going to arrest her. I know that I've waffled on this a lot, but I think that's where we end up here. And who knows? Maybe she'll surprise me. I'm going to assume, though, that I'm letting her off the hook and then she's going to disappear. I think no matter what happens here, we're not going to get any kind of real answers until we can find Ruby. I'll let you off the hook for now. Don't make me regret this. I won't, sir. She exhales, shaking visibly. Then she collects herself. Let's talk about you and Ruby again. Okay, no new questions. Not gonna say... What good is gonna come of me saying Devil Woman? Alright, let's change the subject for the time being. She slowly lights another cigarette and steadies her breath, as if in the presence of some tiger. You are. This is not the end of this. Look up to the gray sky. I mean... I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna click on this. We're not gonna hit it. I guess I have some... Hold on. I have some Shivers clothing. Let's put on our Shivers stuff and try that check. Why not? We're not going to pass it. My guess is that we will never pass it. I'm not going to be able to put enough points into Shivers to make that reasonable. So what did I have something that boosts Shivers. I know I do. Because we've swapped into it before. I think it was... Yeah, our patrol cloak. Stay right there, miss. I'm going to change my clothes a bunch of times right here in front of you. Just don't watch. Don't pay attention to this. Look away. And then a Shivers shirt. Look at all them Shivers. Now,
Hello, officer. What brings you up here
17%.
again?
You know, it's a start. Oh, and then he rolls the 2. Nothing happens. There is a mass of droplets above the planetary body, colorless, merging into one another. The sky is low and cold. You hear the distant murmur of motor connections somewhere south of here. And that's all. Silence, officer. Wouldn't have thought you the silent type. What were we talking about? Nothing. Hold on. Now I'm going to change my clothes again. We're going to put our drama clothes back on. Do I want to strengthen volition here? I mean, I guess I don't actually have a better neck piece. And I think that one is super dope. What is the correct clothing for this situation? Because we're about to ask her some more questions about the lies, about all that lying she's been doing, and I just want to make sure that we're set up for it. What's our current coat? Current coat's pretty bad for the situation. Let's maybe go to... yeah, back to the pinball maker's coat. That's fine. I do want to be able to empathize with her. Like, we gotta understand her, right? -1 empathy, +1 rhetoric is probably not the right shirt. And the plus logic shirt's totally fine. You know what? I think we'll leave it as we are now.
Hello,
Okay.
officer.
Let's get back to those
What
lies
brings
you
up here
told.
again?
Lies? She repeats, then trails off. It's unclear what she intended to say. Yes, we demand she be punished for deceiving us. We demand her anxiety. We demand her fear. I do not like my sense of drama very much. Okay, so there's not anything new here. Then I guess we are actually done with her. And with that, I suppose, done for this episode. This was, listen, I didn't pass a lot of time, we didn't get a lot of things done. Hopefully you all feel that this particular episode was as packed as I do, though. This was a big one. I'm just not 100% sure what to make of what we've got, partially because I don't know how much we can believe what we've got. It's certainly a real murder mystery now, though. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, Monday. I know, bad time for a break, but there's probably not going to be another good time for a break. Come back next time, Monday, when maybe we'll actually learn a little bit about what happened. And we'll see you then.